The issues, the instability, what do you attribute it to?
Well, the things off the pitch, listen, that's not really down to Manchester United. That could happen to any club. Any club could be in a situation where one of the players, you know, gets involved in things off the pitch that they shouldn't do. So it's just how you manage that. They obviously haven't managed certain situations probably as well as they could, but it's not an easy situation for any club. Peter mentioned there about the ownership, and this keeps going on and on. I mean, but these owners have been there now for a very long time, and the whole stadium at one stage were wearing green and gold scarves, and that didn't make any effect on them at all. They had the biggest game in English football called off by the supporters breaking into the stadium because of the frustration with their ownership. That hasn't moved them at all. So this continuing talking about the ownership and it destables people. Yes, I'm totally with the Manchester United fans. I respect any set of supporters who don't want their owners there, but I don't think there's many supporters who like their owners, if I'm being totally honest. But what a football club needs is a manager who gets hold of that football club and drives it forward. I'm sure the Manchester United fans weren't happy with the Manchester United board before Alex Ferguson came round, the Edwards family. FSG at Liverpool, supporters weren't happy with them. Jurgen Klopp comes in. Mikel Arteta now was doing really well at Arsenal. Before that, the fans were going crazy about Stan Kroenke and all the things. You don't hear that now because the team's doing well. Manchester United still spend enough money in the transfer market to give them an opportunity to compete with the best teams in the Premier League and Europe, and that's what they did last season. Ten Hag did really well, but it's still about a manager getting hold of that football club and driving it forward. And as of yet, they still haven't quite got there. Pep Guardiola or Jurgen Klopp, and that's exactly what they need.
Jamie mentions the parallel with Arsenal and Kroenke. Have things now? Is this now what has changed, I suppose, to get them to this place? What's the model for Man United to get out of their troubles to where Arsenal now are?
I think for me, what needs to happen is you need to give the key to a coach in order for him to be able to perform and show what he can do. It reminds me a bit of what Arsenal, of what we were the last, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, a bit before that, where, as Jamie said, everyone was focusing on the ownership. Everyone was focusing on everything else because the team wasn't performing. But Edu arrived, some other people arrived, and they said, this is going to be our manager for a little while. Because when you look at the result of Arsenal at one point, Mikel Arteta, normally, in the way it was and the way football is at the minute, maybe should have lost his job. But he didn't. They gave him the key. He's aware of who's coming, who is not coming, and now you can see a team that can perform. And I think at one point it has to go back to that, and I'll go back to what Peter said, and he's right. At one point the boss there was Sir Alex, and nobody else. At Arsenal right now, it looks from where I'm standing that the boss is Mikel Arteta. And that's about it. And everyone is alongside with him or behind him, not in front of him. And I think there is a power trip at Man United at one point to who is going to be in charge or not in charge. You have to give the key to the manager. Liverpool did with Klopp. Man City, we all know, did it with Pep. And right now Arsenal is doing it with Mikel Arteta. And I think that's what's missing. You have to trust the manager that is there. But is he involved with who is coming or not? Is it his decision? You understand what I mean? That's very important too.
Thierry and Jamie are saying they're talking about how the power of Manchester United is not yet in the manager's hands. And I get it. It really makes sense. But what I'm saying is this. The managers that they're using to give us, like the templates, the Pep Guardiola, the Jurgen Klopp, the Mikel Arteta. One thing that had to happen with those managers, they had to do something to convince the owners that they are the right people of the job. The reason why Manchester United's owners seems like they're still getting involved is because they are not yet, the manager has not yet gone to a point of the dressing room fully trusting him, while also the owners could back him. Because, for example, the Jordan son, and also one thing that we have to say for sure, the other owners, the other managers did not have to go through the craziness that Erik Ten Hag has gone through. So, of all the managers, we have to say he has gone through the hardest job. The Cristiano Ronaldo situation, Mason Greenwood, Sancho. Also, we are talking about Anthony. All these things happened in the first 2 years of this manager. Arteta, of course, we can say that the biggest thing he had to go through was Aubameyang. And I think he dealt with it so well. But for the keys to move to Erik Ten Hag, of course, he won the Carabao Cup. but he has to win something that is very big. Trust me, you might not even agree with me on this, but what got Mikel Arteta or the Arsenal fans to be behind Mikel Arteta was the FA Cup. The value of that trophy gave the Arsenal fans the belief and the trust over the manager. They could believe that they can go somewhere with this man. That's something that Erik Ten Hag has to do. Win at least a big and they recognize the trophy, and things could change. As well, maybe as well as his dressing room impact, the way he's handling the players. That's very important. If we are going to be dealing with situations of other players complaining that other players are treated differently than me, he gives more, more trust into the other players than me, that divides any dressing room. And that's one thing he has to work on, Erik Ten Hag, to remove the ability of saying favorites and actually focusing on building a team. And this situation of him going to get each and every player he has worked with, okay, it has worked before and there's a relationship, so of course the bond is going to be different from the players you are working with currently. But the dressing room is not only built by the players you have worked with before, it's built also by the players you have currently. I know you trusted the other players from where you're coming from, but build something different. Give that level playing field for all players, so that they know that the manager trusts us, or he wants us to trust more. But if players start throwing it or pointing direction to other things, it's really going to be difficult for him to create anything meaningful with United.